Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Yesterday, there were summit talks between President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and visiting Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida at Al-Ittihadiyya Presidential Palace. And right after the talks, a press conference was held to speak more in detail about the most important points which were tackled in the summit talks. To shed more light on this, we are very much delighted to have with us via phone His Excellency Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former Assistant Foreign Minister. A very good morning to you, Ambassador Bayoumi.
Good morning, how are you?
Fine, thank you, sir. Let's start with a quick look at the historical ties that bind Egypt and Japan.
It is a long history, especially in the diplomatic relations, since more than 100 years. And I remember that one of our eminent ambassadors to Japan issued a book about his service in Japan. The Samurai, the book called like that. It was Dr. Mahmoud Fawzi, who became our Minister of Foreign Affairs lately.
Yeah.
When we received a few years ago, Shinzo Abe, the late Prime Minister of Japan, he gave us a lecture, a huge lecture attended by many people, and he presented to us a PowerPoint session with some pictures about the relations between Egypt and Japan. Some pictures were for an industrial delegation from Japan came to Egypt, and they are visiting the pyramids and the Sphinx. Why they came to Egypt? They came to learn how Egypt made a good development in industry during the time of Muhammad Ali Pasha. So that was the model of the relation. Japan was trying to follow the development in the industrial sector of Egypt. Now we are trying to learn about what Japan did in the last 100 years of development, and they are really serious people. They like work, they are fond of working, and it is a very good model.
Of course, the Japanese experience after World War II is a unique one. It was completely devastated, and how it emerged that way. Of course, this is something which should be thoroughly studied. But let's focus, if you permit me, to yesterday and to the start of the visit of Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida to choose Egypt as his very first leg in Africa, and to say that Egypt is a main partner for Japan in many domains, and to say that with yesterday's summit talks, both sides agreed to raise the relations between Cairo and Tokyo to a strategic partnership. Would you please elaborate?
Yes, and it started a few years ago when they hosted our President Fattah al-Sisi in the Japanese African conference. They call it TICAD. The President attended this as the chairman of the African Union, and from there we started a new sort of cooperation. We have, of course, the direct cooperation between Egypt and Japan, but Egypt initiated an initiative asking for all the donors, all the developed countries, in order to come and invest in Africa with the Egyptian help and with the finance coming from those countries. Japan accepted this immediately. China and Europe also is encouraging us to continue this initiative. So this is very important. Another point of the visit, that we are calling on Japan to come and invest in the Suez Canal industrial zone. Instead of sending their merchandise this long way from Tokyo to London, they come, we attract them to come and industrialize whatever they want to produce in the Suez Canal zone, and to be very near to their markets in Europe, in Africa, and the Arab world. Another dimension of the attraction that we always tell the investor, if you invest in our country is a leader in the field of free trade areas. We have free trade area with 22 Arab countries. We have free trade area with 50 African countries and with the 27 of the European Union. This means that any piece of merchandise produced in Egypt enjoys free treatment without custom duty or any trade barriers in markets in the Arab world, in Africa and Europe, which population reaching 2,000 million inhabitants. This is a huge market and it is a good attraction for our partners. And we want now to concentrate on the industrial sector, and we hope that we can attract Japanese because it is one of the best countries in the field of
Amen to that. And to echo what you've just said, sir, maybe this is to what you have said is translating the statistics which were released in an important statement or reports released just yesterday by the Central Agency for Public Mobilization and Statistics, CAMPAS, saying that the Japanese investment in Egypt surged in the fiscal year 2021-2022, even as trade between the two countries declined by 26.3% to 1.1 billion from 1.6, and the Egyptian export to Japan dropped 53% compared to what was achieved 2021 fiscal year. The Japanese investment surged by 98.7%, and this is huge. But many analysts are saying that this is only a start and only a step in a long journey. If you agree with that?
Yes, of course. I am so happy with this, with these results, but I am ambitious. I hope to double this. We can do that, and this depends on how we make ourselves more attractive to bring investments to Egypt, how to make our ability to absorb money, because sometimes money is there, but your way of dealing with the money and investors bureaucratically is not fast enough. You go to still, although we made a tremendous development, but you still go to a bank and you have to spend a couple of hours in order to finish whatever you need to draw a check or whatever. This in our recent generation must be a sort of acceleration to all this process. Our bureaucracy, our banking system, our transport, and here I want to stop here to say something to those who are questioning why we are building many roads and many bridges and ports and so on. If you want to produce, how you can get your raw material without roads and ports? If you want to export, how are you going to export without building new roads and bridges?
Build it and they'll come.
By the way, if you study how Germany made what they call the German miracle after the Second World War, many reasons. One of them is the road net in Germany, which is huge. I personally love driving in Germany because the roads are tremendous. And by the way, there isn't the only country in the world without speed limit. Why? Because the roads are many and are highly sophisticated and very safe. Let us do that also in Egypt to attract more and more foreign direct investment.
Sir, also His Excellency, the Japanese ambassador in Cairo, Oka Hiroshi, when he talked about the important visit by the Japanese Prime Minister, he said that renewable energy in specific is going to be tackled, and memo of understanding are going to be signed in this field, because Japan knew well to what extent Egypt can be a regional hub for renewable energy. How do you see this, sir?
This is very good part of our recent development, and Egypt is transforming itself from a country importing energy to a country exporting energy.
Yes.
Now, after the new discoveries of gas and oil, and then we have a huge project to connect the electric net of the Arab world from Baghdad in the far east to Casablanca in the far west, then we shall have surplus of electricity. And this moment, while we are talking together, we are establishing a cable between Alexandria and Greece and Cyprus,
Yeah.
in order to send our electricity to Europe. And the European Union is encouraging us to do this. And of course, with this energy crisis, because of the Ukraine war,
The Russian-Ukrainian war, yes.
now we are benefiting from this at this moment. Also, we should connect our net from north to south, from Alexandria to the Tanzania dam and to Congo, and hopefully with Ethiopia if they come to cooperate with us.
Meaning that Japan knew well Egypt is, with its geographic location can be their gate to Africa, to the Mediterranean, to the Arab nation, to the north of the Mediterranean, as Prime Minister Kishida was keen to go to the headquarters of the Arab League and to address the permanent representatives of the Pan-Arab body, and to agree on holding a summit gathering the Japanese side and the Arab sides next September, inshallah. This is, I think, another achievement or another very positive step which took place yesterday.
Yes, yes. And everybody knows that Egypt is the most acceptable face in the continent of Africa since decades. Even you have some tribes and parties in Africa, they are proud that they have Egyptian origin. I served in Africa several times. I spent some time visiting officially many African countries, and they welcome us because we are African, because we are black. Tutankhamun was black. Because we are white, they are proud that there is also a white country in Africa. Because of Islam, don't forget the role of Al-Azhar al-Sharif in the Islamic Africa. Because of our church is very active in the countries in Africa who followed our Orthodox church. Many regions that we are in Africa, and we are represented in every single country in Africa with full ambassadors. And I tell you a secret, some European friends from ambassadors where I was serving in Africa, they are complaining that in order to meet a minister, they wait for hours. I never met that. Whenever I want to see Saada Hayat, the Prime Minister.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former Assistant Foreign Minister. And now we are going to go live to mark the Labor Day. Marking the occasion, President Sisi attends the celebration organized by the Egyptian Trade Union Federation.
أسعد الله صباحكم مشاهدينا الكرام بكل
Dear viewers,
يوم جديد
a new day, a day that we are celebrating with you. We're celebrating Labor Day from New Salhiya city, in particular Sharqiya Sugar Factory. We are celebrating the Labor Day with the attendance of President Sisi, who's always keen on being amongst the Egyptian workers and laborers on their day, in appreciation to their efforts in development construction. Dear viewers, today we will inaugurate 5 new industrial projects within the framework of the initiative Ibda Start. It's a national initiative to support the Egyptian industry. Labor Day, as you all know, is a new old one that generations have inherited, a generation after the other and the year after the other. Every year on Labor Day we renew our ambitions and dreams for Egypt. And we also express our appreciation to the Egyptian worker in all fields. On this day, we thank all the Egyptian arms and hands that believed in the great